Well, hello everyone, I'm Postmaster Radio and it's time to bring on the funny. You're listening to Ujokes Weekly, the official podcast highlighting Jonathan Mangum's virtual comedy show Ujokes, where comedians plus you guys and gals compete for the best joke. It is literally comedy gold at your fingertips. And today we are counting down my top 5 favorite jokes from Ujokes episode 53 with Leah Knauer and Steve Purnick as well. Now before we get started, I do want to give you a couple of quick notes. Obviously, if you missed last week's Ujokes podcast with Lauren Pritchard and Tom Clark's show, catch up now via the podcast link in the description. If this is your first time checking out Ujokes Weekly, thank you so much for doing so. And if you've listened before, to any continuing listeners, thank you so much for coming back. It means a lot. And don't forget to keep listening after the old Ujokes Top 5 Countdown for the Ujokes Awards, featuring additional highlights to come, including Comedian of the Week and a pretty interesting manga moment too. You don't want to miss out. But for now, without further ado, let's get started. So my 5th favorite joke from the week goes to Leah Knauer, and this is for a game of dream interpretation. It is brand new for Ujokes, and in this game, based on the picture shown, the comedians plus the Ujokes audience had to come up with, what exactly does that picture signify if this were to pop up in your dreams? What the hell would it mean? And you know what? Leah's joke, it had so many great chicken puns, cooped up into one, no pun intended for the chicken coop, lol, that I am just going to let Leah do the talking for this one.
I'm actually familiar with this one, and it usually signifies when you have too many cocks laying on your chest. It usually means that you're sleeping with too many people, too many partners, so you need to make a choice. You need to cockle-deedle-do or cockle-deedle-don't, and pick one hen.
But again, the main part of that joke, which is kind of the part that I'm sticking to, cock-a-doodle-do or cock-a-doodle-don't, which I don't know about you, but that was like my favorite part of that joke. It was the winning joke, of course, for dream interpretation. No surprise, though, for Leah Knauer. After all, when you have multiple jokes in one, you really can't lose most of the time, honestly. So that's my 5th favorite joke from yesterday's Ujokes show. My 4th favorite joke is for a game called Name the Movie. Now, this was the last game of the night, and it is for the picture of an elderly couple in the washing machine. Shout out to YouTube user Olga Morozova for the joke 2 Shades of Grey. That was the audience joke that Josh, the producer, picked out, and I gotta admit, that was a really good pick to represent team audience. What a great source of laughs. We'll come back to that game in just a minute, but for now, we continue the countdown with a different game called Dumbest Answer. In this case, we get a question called, why are flamingos pink? Now, you don't want to come up with the real answer because, while that may be true, it ain't funny. You have to instead come up with an answer so dumb, it's actually funny. And in this case, this was the winning joke, actually, and I'm glad it made it into the top 3. From the Facebook chat, Frank Macaluso, why are flamingos pink? Because if they were gray, they'd be elephants. Yeah. Yeah, that's totally dumb. Bravo to Frank. But although that was the winning joke, I gotta admit, as great as that joke was, and same deal with Wayne Brady's unexpected cameo during that game, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you really need to go back and check out yesterday's Ujokes show. But I also really loved Leah's joke from that game, just because it's kind of more punny, and if you know me, I love puns, and this actually leads up quite nicely to the second spot on the old Ujokes countdown.
Flamingos are pink because they pee ink. Pink.
They're pink because they pee ink.
Pink.
Oh, pee ink! I got it. Took me a second. I like it.
I gotta admit, I didn't understand it right away, but as soon as Jonathan said, oh, now I get it, it clicked for me too. Pee ink. Touche, Leah, touche. A great joke from her, but you know what? Even though Leah did a great job, and you guys and gals on YouTube and Facebook were equally hilarious, my favorite joke from the night, and this was a tough call, honestly, but at spot number 1 on the countdown, Patrick. Patrick Murray. And he was last show's best. That's why he got to play in the final game of the night, Name the Movie. And just before I get to his joke, a little quick note for anyone that has never heard of Ujokes or isn't familiar with last show's best, because not everyone, sad to say, can compete on Ujokes Live. Some people watch after the fact, and because of that, if you still have a really great joke, that's okay. You can type it into the YouTube chat and the Facebook chat as well. And who knows, if you have the best audience joke, you could be invited to play on the next Ujokes show, which, by the way, in case you don't know, is coming up on Monday, December 21st. That is the plan, at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern. But anyway, back to the joke at hand. So we mentioned, of course, the Name the Movie game already with the washing machine. This was Patrick's joke, and I gotta admit, maybe because it had two jokes in one, maybe that's why it won the game.
I think this was from an early 80s movie called The Spin Cycle Swingers. And there was a hit song that actually came from the soundtrack from the Culture Club called I'll Tumble For Ya. Little known fact.
Hey, two jokes from Patrick in Milwaukee.
Ujokes to two jokes.
Ujokes to two jokes.
And if you have yet to watch the Ujokes show, you will not believe how incredibly relaxed this guy is. To quote my own comment on the YouTube chat, that guy is so mellow. Yeah, that is how relaxed he is. Anyway, so that's that for the Ujokes Top 5 Countdown. Amazing job to Leah Knauer, the YouTube and Facebook audience, and Patrick Murray, the last show's best dude for yesterday's show. And now it's time for the Ujokes Awards. Alright, first up we have Comedian of the Week. That is obviously going to go to Leah Knauer. She dominated this week against Steve Purnick. And I would like to say, with regards to Steve, just before we get to the next award, sorry to Steve that he did not make the Ujokes countdown at all. Unfortunately, it was a bad combination of some of his jokes, especially in the second half of the Ujokes show, not being as funny as I hoped. I feel like if he wasn't as funny as he, I assume, normally is. A bad combination of that, plus more so, I guess, in the first half of the show. But overall, his audio quality, I couldn't hear Steve as much at a few ill-timed points, especially, though, during some of his jokes. And because of that, plus the fact that some of his jokes weren't as funny, especially, though, compared to Leah and Patrick Murray and you guys, bad combination for him. So, sorry, Steve. Maybe if you come back to Ujokes on a future episode, you'll have better luck. But for now, this week really was not your week, Steve. Sorry. But now, moving on. Game of the Week is our next award, and I think it's going to be a tie between Name the Movie and Dumbest Answer, simply because those two games kind of dominated the countdown. We also have the Audience Award, and as I said before with the countdown, the exact same reason for this joke being the winner of the Audience Award, because usually I have to consider like every audience member that makes it onto the countdown, including last show's best, Patrick. And you know, Patrick, he had two jokes in one, as I said before, so in the end, Patrick Murray is the recipient of this week's Audience Award. And finally, because it is Jonathan's show too, I can't not have this award, the manga moment. If you go back to the start of that show, you can watch that manga moment from start to finish. But long story short, this is when Jonathan did some funny stuff about National Monkey Day and National Pretend to be a Time Traveler Day, which, believe it or not, is a real national day. And turns out it happened last week, long story. But yeah, that would essentially be the manga moment of the week. With that being said, that's all the time we have for now on Ujokes Weekly. Thank you so much for checking out this week's episode. I hope you had a great time. And until the next Ujokes show, once again on Monday, December 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific on YouTube and Facebook. Don't forget to stay connected with me on Twitter and Instagram at Postmaster Radio. And you can find the Ujokes podcast on YouTube, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. The account links are all in the description. Thanks again for listening, and, well, bye for now. See ya!